Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the shop.
Why? I just don't get it. I always catch you fuckers watching this sick shit. This is sickening.
Baron Samedi is Smite's most recent release in the game, and pretty much everyone likes him. Well, aside from the people who are sick of seeing him every game and are tired of going against him because he's super strong, but that's probably a vocal minority. Who knows? His animations are great. Wait, what? His coffin's not colored? Motherfucker. His design is great, his kit is great, and overall... Wait, what's that? His own brew gives him 10% passive. It gives him 10% power. Well, it's probably nothing. I'm sure he's fine. Wait, what? His Vivid Gaze is doing 15% more damage and then 10% more damage with scaling than intended. Okay. But it's still not. His Rapid Up was ignoring boost and slow immunity. Okay, this god's a bit broken. But I mean, he's getting some decent nerfs. I'm sure he's fine. I enjoy him quite a lot, and that's not just because he's very strong, of course. And I'll admit I like him a little bit too much. But at least he's still more unique and interesting compared to the last good release, the Slavic Russian squatting piece of garbage over there, that apparently after one set of buffs he's very strong and needs to be banned every game. But without further ado, let's dive into Baron. Baron's passive, Hysteria, is basically that whenever you go into the shop when Baron is on your team, you can buy a 150 gold chalice that is a better version of a multi-pod. In addition to this, anytime he damages an enemy, he will stack this Hysteria onto them. After 30 Hysteria, Baron's abilities will gain additional effects. When you reach max Hysteria, you will take 25% additional damage from Baron. If I'm also not mistaken, that after 30 Hysteria, you will gain a purple skull above your character's head. Most of the time, it will just always be above your head, laughing at you, because the Hysteria decreases very, very slowly. Baron's first ability, Vivid Gaze, are two skulls that fire laser beams that cross over at the end of the target. It is his main clear ability and can be paired with basically the rest of his kit, and for some reason, but maybe it's just due to nostalgia, but the art of the ability icon reminds me of Anubis' old ultimate icon art. No? Is it just me? Alright, anyway. Targets who are above 30 Hysteria then have their physical and magical power reduced, and their attack speed is also reduced. Also, be prepared for that every time you use this ability, Baron will almost always say, "Ta-da!" And he's gonna say it so much that you're either going to enjoy it or meme it, or it's gonna make you go clinically insane.
Ta-da! 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 Ta-da!
His second ability, Consigned Spirits, is basically Rising 3, but instead of messing the target in place and teleporting Baron, it instead explodes after a while, and any enemies inside of it will be hit, which will cause Smallest to fly towards Baron and heal him. If any teammates are near the explosion or Baron, then they will also be healed. If the target is above 30 Hysteria, then Baron and his allies are given slow immunity and their movement speed is increased. Oh, and if you're thinking of chasing him when he gets that movement speed buff, I really wouldn't recommend it, as the amount of movement speed it gives out, even in the early game, it outclasses pretty much most slows that are given out. His third ability, Wrap It Up, he just throws this cute little snake that's on his staff at people. The snake then latches onto the target and will slow and eventually root you. It's basically how Purdue produces fine butter before he begins the party. Also, if the target is above 30 Hysteria, 30 is a lucky number for this man or something, I'm not sure, then the snake will also spread to teammates like the flu if they're standing to close to 1 second. When I said that it is literally the fine butter for Baron, I wasn't kidding. This ability will start and sometimes finish most initiations that Baron will try to hit you with. He throws his 3, then his 2, then his 1, and that's alternating. You can do whichever one you want, and you're pretty much going to be dead. And if you aren't dead, well, he's just going to have to bring out the coffin.
Hey, can you throw me another croissant?
Oh, and I forgot to mention at this point, but all of his cooldowns aside from his ult are on really low cooldowns. Good luck trying to kill this man, especially when he has 40% CDR. Alright, before I move on to Baron's ultimate, may I please request that if possible, you grab your nearby Henry Hoover and or you dust off your copies of Luigi's Mansion. I don't care what platform it is, but just make sure it's fully clean and sitting right next to you. Because what you're about to witness is basically the most powerful vacuum cleaner in the entire universe. Are you ready? Baron's ultimate, life of the party. He takes out his coffins and sucks, yes, suck everyone towards his coffin. Anyone who gets caught in the cone is slowly dragged towards the coffin and damaged every 0.33 seconds. If the target reaches the coffin, they are stunned for 2 seconds, take damage when they hit the coffin, and also will be hit for 15% of the total health. And yes, this thing will basically silently execute you. If the targets are above 30 hysteria, the pulse depth is increased, and what's worse is that this can happen basically mid-ult, because every 0.33 seconds hit, you're gaining 8 hysteria. Now from what else I've witnessed with this ult, is that you can also manipulate it in some sort of weird way. And by that I mean that you can pull the person that you don't want, and the person that you want, and as soon as the person you don't want is about to hit the coffin, just turn slightly right or left, and basically they'll stop being pulled, and it'll allow you to get full clearance for you to grab the person that you want and kill them. Oh yeah, good luck trying to escape his ultimate with beads, by the way, because beads won't give you enough time to get out of the radius of the cone. Unless you're on the edge of the cone, but let's also not forget that he can move his coffin. And also, for the entire duration of his ult, which is probably around 4.5 seconds, he gets about 50% damage mitigation. Yeah, good luck trying to kill him during his ult. Oh, and if you don't die during your ult, just press any of your abilities. I'm sure you just have to press any ability. I'm sure you'll be dead afterward. So a typical Baron start will be Mage's Blessing, Shoes, Baron's Brew, and then it's dependable for the last consumable slot. It can be either multipots, health potions, mana potions, or wards. Typically I would go for 3 mana potions that allow me to stay in longer, or if there's a god that's depending on being sneaky, then I would buy 2 wards instead and place them. Full build would usually consist of Shoes and the Magi, Soul Gem, although that can be replaced with Bancrofts, Chronos Pendant, Spear of the Magus can once again also be replaced with Divine Ruin if there is a healer, or Spear of Desolation, it's really dependable, Shaman's Ring, and Magi's Blessing, and Mage's Blessing is typically replaced with Soul Reaver. Some alternatives can also be building Warlocks or Book of Thoth before building Soul Gem if you're having trouble with mana, or if they're a really pressure thirsty comp and you need some tankiness with the HP. Typical relics are Puri and Aegis, but sometimes you can pick up a Blink or whatever you really desire, to be honest. It's not my choice what you want to pick up on him. Baron's counters are a pretty wide variety of gods, considering that Baron can be countered pretty well due to his lack of mobility and lack of close range fighting. So gods that can easily get up and close with Baron will typically perform well against him. Some examples of this are Robin, Erlong, Tyr, Susano, Sobek, Vamana, and just more. Or some other counters that typically do well against him, whether it be long range or such, are surprisingly Baron himself, Hachiman, Medusa, Hebo, Discordia, and more. Baron can usually rely on his own CC and doesn't require a tank's CC in order to be able to kill people, but it certainly helps him majorly. Typical good matchups for Baron are gods that have large AoE abilities or tauntless pulls, which allow Baron to easily set up his ult or other parts of his kit. So Athena, Medusa, Ares, Ganesha, Cucullin, Hades, Daji, Susano, Amaterasu, Poseidon, Sylvanas, and more are all really good for Baron. As stated before, Baron can rely on his own CC and power that he can typically take out an opponent without the need of his team. Although most matchups are good with him, there can be some pretty poor ones that struggle to set up his kit, whether it be due to lack of CC or stuff such as dragging the enemies away from Baron, whether that be displacements or knockups or... So most of the mages, Sun Wukong, Shark, Humbats, Camazotz, Kuzenbo, and probably a couple more. Now, this is not to say that Baron will specifically perform well or perform badly with these certain types of gods. If played well, Baron can work with any of these gods really well. These are just the best and worst matchups in my opinion in terms of their CC and how they combo with Baron. Alright, to make it as simple as possible, I'm going to go over the best possible tips that will help you lock down and stop Baron from destroying your games. Number 1. Wait until his 3 and 4 are on cooldown. If those two abilities are on cooldown, it prevents him from having any chance of escaping any CC that you apply to him and any lockdown potential that he may have against you. Number 2. Try to outpredict the Baron. By this, I mean that you should trick him with your movement and bait out his 2 and make him waste it, so that he can't poke you out of lane and or continue to give himself or his team free heals so that they can stay in lane longer. Number 3. Focus Baron during the early phases of the game. The earlier that you can prevent him gold, XP, and levels, the more he won't be prevalent in the mid to late stages of the game, and your tank will probably have enough defense that Baron will more than likely just tickle them. Number 4. If Baron ults you and you don't have a way to escape the ult, then use Fury or Aegis if you have it and walk towards the ult. Most of the time, it will allow you to escape the Baron, and it will usually confuse him. Alright, to also make this as simple as possible, I'm going to go over 4 of the best tips that will help you when you're playing Baron, and help you get a better understanding of Baron. Number 1. Be careful in the early game. If you get caught out by the enemy team, you're going to get caught out pretty badly, and that will allow them to snowball you, and allow them to win the game. Number 2. If there is a god that is easily able to punish you through their kits, I'd recommend saving your ult until they initiate on you, and then your team should be able to follow up on your ult. Number 3. Combos. Know them and learn how to utilize them efficiently. Earlier, I mentioned that the 3 is the bread and butter for Baron, and it's how most of his initiations start, and that's pretty much true. You can hit the 3 on someone, throw the 2, they get rooted, you throw the 1, and as I said before, that can be alternating, which means that you could press 3, then 1, then 2 as well. The ult can be comboed really well as well. You press 4, bring someone in, as you get off the coffin, you can hit them with the rest of your abilities, which should allow for an easily confirmed kill. Number 4. Try to stick with your team as much as you can. As a backline character with a small amount of mobility, you don't want to get caught out of position and killed by the enemy mage or assassin. So try to stick with your front liners when you can, and make sure your abilities are up in case that does happen. Alright, so I know this is a video that I don't normally make, but I thought I'd make it because I really do enjoy Baron, and everyone seems to be going crazy, beating the shit out of him like I kind of have. And I really wanted to help people with Baron as much as I can, whether it be winning against him or having him damped down by an Nene, how to build him, etc. So that other people can enjoy him, so that people can stop seeing him in basically every game. It also lets me know if you guys want to see more types of videos like these, and whether I should continue making this or making this as a series, and doing this to war gods, which therefore gives me the capability to create more SMITE content that isn't just SMITE montages. Thanks for watching.